Wasatch Reading Club. Today I wanted to start a new video series of What Should I Read? So this series is going to be called What Should I Read? Now, I started my teaching career teaching junior high or middle school. For those of you in other parts of the country or in the world, middle school or junior high is roughly the grades 6 through 8th. Our school had 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, or grades 7, 8, and 9. And then our high schools have 10, 11, and 12. So there's 3 in the junior high and then 3 grades in the high school. When I started teaching junior high, it was kind of difficult to gauge that space between kids who are kind of innocent and unaware of some of the big problems in the world, and then knowing that eventually when they hit 9th grade high school, that they definitely were going to have to deal with some bigger issues, racism and sexism, and a lot of the problems that are brought up in the news as they become more aware of the world around them. So in junior high, it was difficult to find books for students to read and then to be able to recommend those to those kids. I'm very sensitive to what parents want their kids to be reading and what they don't want their kids to be reading. And so it was kind of you might be interested in this book, but this is the content that's in there. So I'm not saying you should read it, but maybe you'd be interested in it. Which is kind of the difficult situation for a teacher who cares about students and wants them to read and wants to help them with the questions that they might be facing and how they address, how they find those solutions to the problems or the questions that they have. Sometimes parents are difficult to communicate with. I don't know if you've ever experienced that before. But I've read a couple of books over the last 12 months or so as I've taught high school for my first year, 10th grade, and the things that they're interested in reading, the things that they have questions about, some of the things that they're struggling with in life. So in this series, What Should I Read? The first video here is going to be about some of the mental health books that I've read. One of the books is called Optimists Die First. This story is about a girl who has some anxiety because of a death in the family that she feels like may have been her fault, and how difficult it is for her to build relationships. This book is written by Susan Nielsen. It's a fantastic story. I think it's something that a lot of kids more and more are dealing with, both mental health issues and maybe the tragedy of somebody in their life dying, and what their role might have been in that part of their family, that whether it's a death of a loved one or a death of a family member, maybe death of a pet. So that's Optimists Die First. Now, this series of videos, What Should I Read? There are no endorsements. There are no. I'm not getting paid for any of these. I'm just trying to find books that I think students will want to read, that they'll connect with, that they'll learn something from, and that will help them realize that life is difficult but not impossible, and that there are people around to help back them up. So the first book was Optimists Die First. Another book that I read over the school year was Monday's Not Coming, and that book is by Tiffany D. Jackson. This is a difficult book. This is about a girl and her friend that grow up in Washington, D.C., and it's difficult because it's kind of confusing. I'm not sure what's going on in the story, but it's compelling because I want to know why this girl has this relationship with her friend and what they go through together. And the girl's name is Monday, which is kind of a play. You think Monday's not coming, meaning like it's the end of the world or something. But I'll let you just discover the things that Monday goes through as she tries to figure out what has happened to her missing friend. Another book that I have just finished that I think was fantastic by Teresa Toten is The Unlikely Hero of Room 13B. This is another book about mental illness and some of the struggles that we face. I really enjoyed this book. It was kind of light for being a book about mental illness. I thought it was fun, even though a lot of the things that they were dealing with were difficult. One of the things that I will recommend with all of these books is if they do have some adult situations, some language, some of the struggles that they face with, some of the anxiety, some of the sexual situations that they find themselves in. Anyway, those are 3 books that I highly recommend if there's something that you or somebody you know is dealing with. If you have any comments or suggestions or questions about these books, I'd like to hear what you think. Definitely these aren't books for everyone. Not everybody is ready to read about mental illness and some of the struggles that are faced there. But I hope if that is something that you or someone you know is dealing with, that these books might help you through that and realize that there are other people to help us. Thanks for stopping by the Wasatch Reading Club today. Look for more on this series of What Should I Read? Have a great day.